We're back for another episode of the In Her Boots podcast, where we share the inspiring stories of women in football. Today we have the pleasure of speaking to Angela Garrod from Liverpool John Moores University. Angela is actively involved with the Liverpool Feds walking football team. She is also the Her Game 2 ambassador for Liverpool Feds Women, where she advocates gender equality in the game. Beyond that, she is also part of the Stepping Over the Sidelines initiative with the Liverpool County FA and is a committee member for the Liverpool Women's and Youth Football League. She is deeply passionate about the women's game. Angie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on. So, we'll start off. I know you're involved with the Feds a lot, so can you start about what got you involved in the Feds to start with?
So my daughter, Charlie, was playing for the Feds in one of their youth teams, and I'd always kind of wanted to get more involved in women's football, having loved it when I was a kid and always been a fan of Liverpool FC, and just being around women's football was amazing. So having that opportunity, I just sort of spoke to Sue, who was obviously your coach at the time, and just said, what can I do to help? And Sue was like, yes, we would love you to help, as we always are at the Feds, because we just value our volunteers. And that it just went from there, really.
So I know you're a huge fan and supporter of the Fed. You're probably the super fan.
Yes, I am wearing my scarf. I've had to put this up here so the camera can see it. Yep.
So what would be your favourite moment supporting the team? I know we've had loads of memories with the team, but what was your favourite one if you had to say one?
So I really thought about this question because I knew this was going to come up. So I've got to say, and it's because I was looking at photographs the other day and I still love it. It was when we got promotion from Tier 3 to Tier 4. From Tier 4 to Tier 3. And I just, in my head, I can still see the blue flares going off and everyone's faces and just that moment of when we won and that banner come out and we've got that promotion. I think that has got to be my favourite moment.
Have you been to any? You've been to some famous stadiums though, haven't you, with them too?
Oh, indeed. So I get to travel in luxury it's amazing. I guess, again, favourite moments. Anytime I get to travel on the team coach, because you feel really special because you're with those players. The players that you watch, and you they're like legends to you. So you're on this coach with them and you're travelling to Burnley and Nottingham Forest and Wolves and things like that. So going into particularly the big stadiums, so Burnley and Notts, just amazing.
Yeah, and I know that more of the girls from the youth teams have been going as well, and the fan base is growing even more, just down to your hard work as well. Obviously, there's the girls teams are now getting involved. They're being the mascots on a Sunday, and it's obviously more fans are being at the game, so it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, and just to put out there as well for anyone watching this, if you are a fan of the Feds or want to get involved and become one of our supporters, we are going to be looking for first-time fans as well, which will be coming up soon. So we're going to be obviously promoting that as part of the Her Game 2 role that I've got, which I know you're going to talk about a bit later on. But also we have a Fans X page, which is under my name, so Angie at Liverpool Feds Supporters, I think is the tagline. But if you look us up, please do get involved with that as well.
Okay, so we'll get on to the Her Game 2 then. So obviously recently you've become the Her Game 2 ambassador for the Feds. So could you tell us a little bit about what that is and what you do?
So, it's an absolute privilege and an honour to be asked to be that. And it's really about just equality in the women's game. So, but not just the women's game, but at any football match, women should feel safe to go as a spectator, to play, to have opinions about football in general, and just feel welcome and supported and safe. So we've kind of always had that at Liverpool Feds, but actually having that the me there as the ambassador as we grow, enabling there to be somebody there that in the event that because as we grow, things could change and develop and things, but we would want to try and sustain our safe and welcoming environment as we encourage more people to come to the games.
Yeah, so obviously you had the fixture at the weekend against
Derby County, yeah.
So how was that? And obviously I know we had 200 odd fans there.
It was our first designated fixture for Her Game 2, as well as obviously being part of International Women's Day. And it was just immense. We brought in ex-players, so we had Paige there who's now a full-time firefighter, and she obviously came along. She's an ex-Liverpool Feds player, and she brought she came in a uniform, so we had representation from Merseyside Fire Service. We have links with Merseyside Police. They do a lot of funding stuff as well, as you know, from things from Liverpool County FA and things as well. So Merseyside Police came and brought female officers to support the game, and they had a boss time. They were there with their Her Game 2 flags, learning loads, and just like asking loads of really good questions, as well as just supporters saying, wow, who are the players, and where have they come from, and wow, this is a really good game, and they were really impressed by the level. And yeah, it was just a really good time. We had our selfie board there for her game too. We had Rupa there, who's my kind of like my link with her game too. She's one of the people who sort of founded part of the organisation, and she came, and it was just lovely to have her there and seeing our first designated fixture and seeing what we could achieve and the amount of work that we're doing to encourage women.
Yeah, it sounded like an amazing day to be part of.
And the sun was out, so it was even better. It was a nice day.
100%. So obviously, you mentioned that like the likes of Paige, who has a job now as a firefighter, obviously being in Tier 3, the Feds they don't get paid to play, unlike the teams that are semi-professional in their league, and obviously they all have jobs outside of it. So like, could you touch a little bit on that and like what you think of that?
Yeah, so the Liverpool Feds are self-funded, where we don't have any big backers. We have wonderful sponsors who help us out. So we've got and I apologise for anyone I don't mention here, because there are a number of our supporters, but Creative Players is obviously on our shirts, and they're a big help. And we have other sponsors who also help us out. But we are self-funded. Other than that, we don't have a financer. We don't have a men's team that can put money into our women's team. So it's really tough. So our women all have to, all have full-time jobs outside of football, which obviously makes it harder for them to, they're coming to training after work, they could be tired. We have, players who are current police officers, so sometimes their shifts don't allow them to play, or, don't allow them to come to that training because they need to be in work. So I think it's amazing that the likes of Duffy, our manager, and the people around Duffy who help build the team, are able to manage that and make sure that those players don't feel ostracised, are as equal as everybody. Everyone's equal within the team, not because of their jobs or anything like that. And I just think if you compare the game, we're middle of the table. If you compare us to the likes of Nottingham Forest, where all their players, they've all got their names on the shirts, they've got all this money from these men's clubs coming through, and we're competing with them, and we're middle of the table. I think that's an incredible, those players are just amazing, really.
Yeah, obviously we don't have a men's team that can back us, so it's obviously harder, but I think what we're doing, it's been 2 seasons now that we stayed up, which is amazing, and it shows that we can compete with no funding and things like that. We're just doing it ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah, so I mean yeah, you got, we are doing it ourselves, and obviously we're always looking for help and support. So again, if anyone watching this podcast would like to come and get involved with the Feds, would like to come and see what we do and see how immense all our players are, and would like to sponsor or come and get involved in volunteering even as well for the club, that would also be amazing.
Okay, so moving on, obviously, I know you play for the Feds walking football team.
I do indeed. Look at that. That's an honour as well.
So what do you like about that, and when did you actually start getting involved in that?
From the very beginning. So I was one of the first people to go to the first ever night of training that Muchie put on. And it was because, again, because you were part of the Feds, you'd seen this you followed lots of football things, and you'd put something on from Muchie that she said she was looking for women to come and be part of it, and you were like, oh, you should go, and I was like, hell yeah. Anyway, in the end I went, and there is an original photograph of, I think there was about 10 or 12 of us there that night, and there's a photograph that Muchie occasionally posts, and that was the first ever sort of what became the Liverpool Feds walking football team post. I know that P's in there, so P's Pauline, and there's a couple of others who were in there as well. Of course, Paula, who obviously we lost quite recently, but Paula was also in that picture. And I can't remember who else is in there, but there's a number of people who still play for us now. Yeah, and so it just went from there, really.
I know there's a few ex-Feds players who play in there as well.
Yeah, there is indeed.
So it's obviously giving them the opportunity to still play football. But how do you find the walking football? Obviously, I know you've not played 5-a-side or 11-a-side, but what do you like about the walking football?
I love it. So for an hour a week, once you're there, your head just goes into the football. I've learned skills that I never thought I'd ever have. I can drag a ball back. I've megged someone, and it would not be a night on a Tuesday if you didn't hear Muchie shout, Megs! She'll love that, by the way, and everyone who's on my walking football team will know it's not a night if Muchie isn't there shouting, Megs! She loves it. If anyone megs someone, she's made up. She's also made up if she megs someone as well. Muchie, by the way, is our coach, our trainer, our founder of the walking football. She's amazing. She's also a fantastic goalkeeper, and she is also an ex-Fed. And she is also, what I really want to say is what's amazing is, as part of coming to our Walking Football, you get to play alongside not only obviously ex-Liverpool Feds players like the likes of Joe and Scoff, but you also get to play against what are England players. So England Walking Football team, we have a number of players, and again I apologise if I forget anyone, but Shell, Tracy, Muchi, Chris, I think even Pauline's been involved in some bits of it, or regional ones, but there's loads of the people who play. Scoff and Joe, they're also part of the team. I'm trying to think who's just got into the current team, but it's amazing. And what's really good is people probably listen to this thinking, oh, I couldn't go down there and do Walking Football, and you've got all these amazing players who play for England and are ex, like 11 aside, players who play for Liverpool Feds. It's not like that. They don't treat you any differently to them, and to be fair, loads of us like myself have really come on with our skills, because you've got these women there who are so encouraging. And, I've played alongside Scoff and Joe in a tournament. Like, I think Scoff was actually injured at the time, so she was our manager, but Joe was on the pitch. Now, Joe's an immense player and plays for England and played for Liverpool Feds, and she's just so encouraging. She's giving you like advice what to do in your first tournament and everything, so you don't feel under pressure or anything.
Yeah, that's great. Obviously, I know that there's the pathway into the England Walking Football team as well. So, like, it's not just about, enjoying it. There's also the pathway in that, like, in the professional. Like, you can go and play abroad, can't you, with them and things like that. So it's great to have that as well. So what would be your favourite moment for the Walking Football team? A favourite tournament, favourite match, training session, anything?
Yeah, so I absolutely love the Dick Kerr tournament, which takes place every year, and I've been to ever since we've been going. I think I've been to every single one of them. I love it. The tournament it's a nice tournament. The teams that come are lovely. It feels reasonably competitive, but in a nice way. And we just have a ball. I think not last year, the year before. The over 60s won. I think I think I forgot that wrong, apologies, but I know we won. We came back with our trophy, so that was amazing. And then just generally every Tuesday night there's always something that's like pretty amazing, that goes on. Just we have a laugh. Tuesday this week, Muchi wasn't there, but the team, we still went out and we still played, and we just had a laugh. We just set up the goals and just put people into teams, and had Jill shooting their long range shots and missing loads of them, and then and then she was getting some in, and I hit the post twice. And it's just great fun.
Yeah, it's all about the social
100%,
as well, like
yeah.
just getting together and playing football. It doesn't have to be competitive.
Yeah.
So I know that you've also got involved with the Stepping Over the Sidelines with the Liverpool County FA. So could you tell us a little bit about what that is and why you got involved?
Okay, so this is one of the things where I always get dragged into things, and not in a bad way, but because people just kind of no, I just want to do everything I can to help with women's football and development and growth of it. So a lot of people will say to me, oh, come and be involved in this. So I went along to Stepping Over the Sidelines that was put on by Jonah as part of the Liverpool County FA's, one of their projects that they're doing to grow the women's game. And it's all about... So Jonah's remit is he's an excellent coach, by the way, and an excellent teacher. And he's there to kind of encourage more women to become coaches. And it's for women who've never coached before, or someone who's coaching but maybe feels like they are out of their depth or whatever, and just needs to know that they're doing the right things and want some support and some growth and some development in becoming a coach, so that they know they're doing the right things. So I went on the training. It was amazing. I absolutely would advocate it to anybody. You were made to feel really welcome. Nothing felt like you were on the spot. You don't need to feel like, oh, I'm going to be really embarrassed because I don't know anything or whatever. It's nothing like that. And I have to say, Jonah was amazing with everybody there, and so much so that we created a little group afterwards, a WhatsApp group with all the women who'd been involved, and it was lovely. Met all these different women, all doing different things. Most of them had clubs, and they weren't all from girls' football teams either. What was really encouraging was we're getting women coaching boys' football teams. So it's just about, in general, the Stepping Over the Sidelines, just about encouraging women to coach in any part of the game, where it's walking football, women's, men's, boys, girls, whatever it is, just getting involved in that, really, because we need to encourage more women to be visible in that role as well.
Yeah, and they might not feel that they can take that step, but there's these initiatives and programmes that the county offer. So obviously I'm part of the more higher up one. But obviously I know that it's more getting the women involved, so giving them that opportunity to just feel like they know what they're doing and that they're supported by the county. They've got the support of, like, if they're struggling with sessions, that they can ask the county for help, and Joan is there to help them and support them. So that's great that you're part of that. Okay, so obviously I know that you're a committee member on the Liverpool Women's and Youth Football League. So when did you start that? I know that we started it together, didn't we? We got asked by Jo. Yeah. So why did you decide to be a committee member and join that part?
Gosh, you'd think I had loads of time, wouldn't you? But I do. I find time, because all of these things are really important and they're all things that I want to do. So you just find the time to do these things and give the time. Why did I get involved in that? I think, again, it feels like a bit of an honour and a privilege to be asked. And I feel like you would be wrong to say, oh, no, because, like, for someone to come and say, would you like to be on this committee? Must mean something. So you think, well, if they feel that I can bring something, then I should really honour that. So been doing it for this since the beginning of the season. It feels like we've been doing it forever, actually, in a good way. And again, I've learnt loads from that side of things, and just being involved and having that contact with referees and seeing, like, the experiences that they have and being there. And I think what's really nice is again, the hair game too thing kind of crosses over into it, because I go to the games to try and check that everyone's comfortable at the games, and the girls playing and having a good time, and that everyone's respectful and behaviours are in line with the county FA's regulations and rules. And it's really nice to stand on the sidelines and watch all these games. I see so many different teams playing, and I'm able to, like, be there and sort of in the moment and sort of try and, like, make sure that the game is played fairly and properly and that everyone feels safe.
Yeah, the league has definitely grown though as well. Like, we've now got 3 divisions in the open age, and just, like, seeing all the girls having fun, like,
yeah,
it's just great.
I think where I've found things quite sad, really, and again it shows that there's still a lot more growth and work to be done, is we hear a lot in the news about looking after the grassroots game, because grassroots really is what feeds the professional pyramid, or the pyramid as it goes up, certainly when we get into open age football. And the county leagues are really important because they're for everybody, and hopefully will create teams that can then progress up into the higher tiers. And I think what's really sad is seeing the teams fold in the season. And again, we don't always know why that is, but I think there's a body of work there that needs to be done as a league, and trying to find out why. And we do so many things to help as well with the teams in that league, to try and help them out if they can't get a game, and we encourage friendlies and things like that. And I just think our league has just got a really nice ethos about it, so much so I was talking to a colleague in work whose daughter is an under 15 at the minute, and they were saying they may be looking to take their team into a different league because they currently play in one quite a distance away. And I said, well, why don't you come to the Liverpool Women's and Youth Football League, because we've got a really nice it's really nicely run, it's well run, and you'd be looked after. And so they're now considering that, and I think it's about getting it out there so we can encourage more teams to be part of it.
Yeah, obviously I'm part of the social media, so I obviously run the Instagram that, and it's also just about promoting. So, like, I'll repost, like, scores and things like that, and just celebrate the wins of teams. So obviously, like, I know, like, teams in the lower leagues, some of them have beat, like, teams in the leagues above, so it's also about just celebrating that and the little wins for them team. So what is your role there? Like, what do you do?
So I am the funding, I want to say I'm not a guru at all in any of it, I'm new to it, but I kind of got given the funding role. So again, it's really difficult. I've currently, I've applied to like 3 different pots of or tried to get in touch with 3 different big sponsors or people, and we don't ask for a lot. We're just asking for support with like to help with our team of the month, because we give them like vouchers and things. So it would be really nice to have like maybe trophies along with the vouchers, and just having a sponsor there who their name can go on all of that, and our social media would be amazing for us to have that additional little pot of money. And if we had a smaller pot of money as well, we could do other things like team of the season or whatever. We could do other things. We would have those things on board. So that's kind of like my role. But the thing that I've kind of just done is being part of the committee members who actually go out into the games. I'll as I say, right across all of our leagues, and just observe. I'll introduce myself to the referee, I'll introduce myself to the managers if I can. I don't always do that, you know, you don't want to disturb a game or interrupt their coaching or training or warm-up or whatever. And just let them know I'm there, and I'll say, you know, if you have any problems or you've got any questions or anything you want to ask me, if there's anything, you know, you've not had a response from or anything like that, I'm here to help, kind of thing. And it's just lovely. As I say, I love watching women's football, so it's great to be out seeing the up and coming players, but also like what's going on in all of our leagues, so you can see who might be coming up and, you know, where the team might be struggling. And again, it then enables us to, like, I always say to them, are you okay if I take a photograph, and then obviously share it with you, and we publish those photographs on our social media. And I think it's great because, you know, a lot of the teams no photographs are taken, there's no record, there's no memories for those players like you would get in other teams. So I think that's of a lot of value as well.
Yeah, it's great to have someone there, just, you know, being that support as well. So if anyone, even the players need it, there's someone there for them to speak to about any queries about the league, and also any like feedback they have for us to further grow the league.
Yeah, and of course there's also initiatives that the County FA have got in, like the new one, Ask for Sam. I've got that right, haven't I? Yeah. Ask for Sam. And so again, because we kind of know about those things, again, you've got like if there's any safeguarding issues or a player has, you know, you're also there, you can provide instant advice to them, or this is where you can go for that, or this is where you can get help for that. So it's also just nice to be able to do those things as well. Yeah,
so obviously we've got the next Euros coming up. Do you think there's going to be further growth in the game? Because obviously there was after the Euros in 2020. Was it all 20?
No, that was
20,
COVID.
2022, sorry.
Yeah, 2022, yeah. Seems ages ago, doesn't it? It was. There will always be growth. When something's popular or trending, of course you will get a lot of growth, won't you? I think the big worry is that you want to sustain that. So, and it's not just about it being a small, you want that to be sustained and continue. And there's still a lot of work to be done. So you know, I'm sure there are people out there right now looking at how, you know, they can capitalise on you know, that tournament and make that happen. But, you know, I just still think there's quite a journey to go. And if you look at where, you know, you think about Liverpool Feds, for example, I keep coming back to them just because of the tier that they play in. You know, tier 3 is really high. In order for them to have the opportunity to progress to the championship, we've got to have money. We've got to have backing, we've got to have finance. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's lots of talking about things and lots of help that's there. But actually, you know, we're a team that come from grassroots. You know, when you think about the founders of Liverpool Feds in particular, it was a grassroots team. It come from, you know, a couple of women at university putting it together and building it up. So, you know, I think sometimes there needs to be different support as well in place to help, because different teams have different backgrounds and understanding of the game. The people on our committee are not from a football business background. We don't have brains that come in to like tell us like, oh, we can do this. We're very lucky that we have a brilliant accountant. I'm going to mention Emily because she's an ex-Fed player as well for us, but she's an amazing accountant. And she looks after all of our books and makes sure that, you know, we're solvent and make sure we're doing the right things. But other than that, really, we've all got specialisms, we've all got knowledge, but none of us are football business people. So, you know, it's and we get lots of help from some of our sponsors like Creative Players who come in and have given us lots of advice and guidance. So I think it's just, you know, targeting the right support to the right people, really. Yeah, it's just a group of volunteers, and obviously you've all just got to work together and hopefully keep growing the team, and hopefully we can go on to bigger and better things. Yeah, 100%. So, last thing, obviously, I know that you support Liverpool women as well. I do. And obviously the Lionesses. So, do you have a favourite moment from both teams? Well, obviously the Lionesses has got to be the fact that where we were sat, because we went to the final, didn't we, at Wembley, when we won the Euros, and where we were sat, and you managed to capture that goal, that corner, was a corner, wasn't it? Yeah, from Chloe Kelly. When she put it in, and you've still got that video, and for me that's a better video than any news channel, because you've got the atmosphere of everyone around you exploding and all of that, and just that moment was just wow. I mean, you can never. And then of course following up from that, we then went to Trafalgar. Was it Trafalgar it was in? Yeah, for the party. And they had the big party, and we went to that, and just that was immense, wasn't it? Being part of the team coming out and being there, we were all celebrating and partying. That was amazing. And then for Liverpool women, it was the promotion, wasn't it, up to the Super League, and being with all those players that had gone through, you know, seeing the likes of Missy Bocairns, you know, who'd come to our house that time and played footy with you in the road, and you know, being so kind and always like, you know, just come and said hello and all those things, and seeing her and the rest of the team go up was amazing. And then of course we went and watched the bus, didn't we, as it come round, and we watched all the players on it, and that was amazing. But yeah.
So what do you like about the women's matches? Is there anything you like particularly like compared to the men's?
I don't think I've ever been to a men's game apart from a Legends game, and there's a reason for that. One, the cost. So the women's game is a lot cheaper, so you can afford to go to more matches. And secondly, it's, for me, sometimes it can be a bit overbearing. The men's game feel like it would be a bit overbearing. There's so many people there. There's so much noise. And I'm not saying that that's not there and that we don't want that at the women's game, but at the women's games, you know, we can afford a season ticket, so we go in and we can sit down and we know exactly where we are. We can arrive early, you know, we know that you can get into the grounds easier, you can park easier.
There's also a nice atmosphere outside the stadium. The build up to the match is great as well. There's all like things on for like kids, women and all that.
Yeah, I feel like it's very family orientated, and I feel like that, as you said, there's lots of activities outside, and I've never been at a game, even for Liverpool or at the Lionesses games that we've been to, and then also even at Liverpool Feds, you feel like even with the supporters who are there supporting the other teams, that everybody's there competitively, and it's a gentler atmosphere. It's more of a, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are pockets of, there always is, but I've never experienced that, and I feel welcomed and safe at women's games as such, the ones that we're fortunate to go to.
Yeah, and obviously I feel like there's that bit of friendliness between you as well, that you can have a little bit of a conversation. There's not like,
we always end up
too competitive, as you said. It's
like, you always end up talking to people, don't you? And that's it. You make random friends. We've met friends at the Liverpool games, haven't we?
Yeah.
But the other side of it is, which is really important, is it's affordable. The women's game's affordable for many families, and I think if we can get that out there to more people, I think that's why I want to do the first time fans things. Maybe people who've never been to a football game, because like me with the men's game, they couldn't afford to go. I'm not saying I couldn't afford to go, but it would cost me a lot of money to go. I'd have to be really committed to every game, wouldn't I? You know, and it's not always possible to go to every game.
It's harder to get tickets as well.
Yeah, harder to get tickets. So it's not that it's not affordable to me as such, but it's that there are people who it would be completely unaffordable to, whereas the women's game is something that they could afford to go to. And I think that's why the first time fans is so important, trying to get those people who'd love to watch a game of football to a football game feeling safe, but also that it's affordable and achievable.
Yeah, I think they're trying to push that, especially with the game coming up tomorrow at Anfield. I think just because the tickets are so cheap, they're trying to push it and go, come along, like, you know, you'll enjoy it.
And that's where it's really good, because the stadium being in Liverpool, I mean, we've got tickets for the Kop. I mean, I've never been in the Kop in my life. That's like incredible in itself. It's just the momentous occasion of being in, you know, that stand will be incredible. So, and it's affordable, you know, and so that's why they want to, let's fill that stadium, let's get as many people in.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, thank you so much for joining us today, Angie. She consistently goes above and beyond to support the growth of the game. We'll be back next week for more exciting guests.